Hello, everyone. I'm Dylan. I am a associate backend engineer on the AI assisted team, and a part of this borrow request, I will be explaining how our model evaluation testing script works. So here's a repository where everything is happening. It's in model evaluator, which is in code suggestion model evaluation. As of right now, the work that's being done is on V1 evaluation. There is an MR that is up to merge this into main. By the time you see this video, that might have happened. Basically, what you're looking for is this results folder. That is where most of the work's been done. There is a bit of documentation here that kind of just explains how to use the testing script, but I'll go into a little bit more detail. So let's open up the IDE, and like I said, make sure you're on the right branch, and then we'll go into results, and the script that we're looking for is evaluation.py. This is where we're testing the 6 different models against the 4 different languages, and yeah, let's get that kicked off. It takes a few seconds to run an example. We've created 2 make targets or 3 make targets. The ones we'll look at are run generation and run completion. Run test basically just make sure the script doesn't throw back any errors. It doesn't actually do any testing. We'll start with run generation. So let's go over to our terminal, make run generation, and here's the make targets. It'll tell us we're using generation prompts, and then it'll start to get durations. And while it does this, we'll go into a little bit more of what goes on behind the scenes. So basically in V1, in results V1 is where you're going to find the rest of the information. Here we have prompts, completion, and generation. So let's start with prompts. We started with 25 of these prompts. And then these are the prompts we're using for generation. We're giving the prompts or giving the models plain English, and we're expecting some code back. So if you click into prompts and click into generation, you'll find the same prompts here. For this iteration, all the generation prompts are the exact same for each language, except for C. There's some slight changes, I'm pretty sure, as a result of C not having some support for dictionaries, I think was the reason. But besides that, they're basically all the same. In the future, I imagine these will change. There might be more Python prompts, there might be more JavaScript prompts, but that's the thought process. In completion, this is where the prompts are language specific. So we're giving the headers for functions, classes, dictionaries, whatnot, for each of the prompts. So the Python ones are obviously written in Python, so on and so forth, JavaScript and JavaScript, and Golang, Go, C and C. So those are the prompts. That is what we're feeding into the model. Like I said, for generation, we're giving it plain English. We're expecting code back. For completion, we're giving it some code and hoping that it completes the function or whatnot with the correct code. So that's it for prompts. In the 2 folders here, completion and generation, this is where we're storing the result from the test. So generation, Python, for example, this is associated with prompt 1. And in the response, we get the language that it's using. So Python, we get the prompt, write a function, reverse a string, and then we get the 6 models that we're testing against. Here, we're going to get the result, which is a string. Duration, which is how long it took for the model to get the response and get the prompt and send back a response. We get the result length, which is measuring the length of the string result. And then we get average duration, which we noticed that when we first started testing that the time that it took to get the response back varied between each run, even if we were using the same prompt. So our approach there is exactly what's seen here, is each prompt language combination. So for example, the first prompt in Python is write a function, reverse a string. That is run 10 times. And each time the duration is stored for how long it took the model to return a response. It doesn't vary too much. But for some models, it can vary a good amount. So like for Anthropic, it's pretty consistent around 1.35, drops a little lower there. But I've seen this model down to a second, maybe under a second, and up to 2.5 seconds. We don't store the duration dictionary currently, so it's just output into plain text. I imagine in the future we might want to do something with this. But yeah, for now, that's where it exists. It's also a good indicator that the 10 the 10 runs have happened. So once you get the duration dictionary, you should be looking to start to get durations again. This will indicate that it's kicking off the second prompt with the same language. And two quick notes, or a quick note while we run the other one. So let's interrupt that. We can do the same thing for run completion. And then here we get a different mode. We get using completion prompts, and then we start to get durations. Each time the prompts are run, you'll get a check status 200, and then this basically indicates whether or not we got a response from the API. And then you sometimes get a response that says failed to get results. This is basically just a second check that we do because we've noticed that we can get a 200 response, but still get the wrong JSON block back. It'll throw a 500 error within the JSON block. So basically just two safety nets there. And then lastly, if you are developing with this or testing this anyway, each time this runs, you're overriding it's pointing the output to overwrite what has currently been done for V1. So either create a different folder or just don't force push anything unless you want to overwrite the results that we've gotten so far. But yeah, any questions, feel free to ping me. That's basically how it works.